We'll escape the 9 to 5 by the skin of our teeth.
And what is up? Welcome to the Sloppy Syndicate show. That is just a teaser for you guys of who we have in the building tonight. We have none other than Magnolia Bayou. Let me tell you about these Mississippi Mud Boys. They've been grinding, gritting for the last 3 years before they put out their first album. So without further ado, we're going to bring them in, get to know them, their music, and them a little bit better. So give it up for them.
What's going on, y'all?
How we doing, boys?
Great, man. How about y'all?
It's a pleasure to have you on, and I know you guys are extremely busy, folks. So they just got done with sound check, and they're relaxing a little bit before they go back and do their show. So much appreciated to have you guys on the show between sound check and the show, your own show. So thanks for taking the time out for not only myself but the fans out there that love Magnolia Bayou.
Pleasure to be had.
Absolutely. So you guys were literally grinding for 3 years, getting your hands dirty, all up the blues trail before you released your first album. So tell us a little bit about that and how the grind was.
Man, we played locally, played all the local bars for about a year, and then we got our first travel gig in Natchez, Mississippi at a place called Smoots. And it was a blues bar, and we kind of got associated and connected to some blues musicians in that area. And then from that point forward, man, we just kind of started traveling up and down Mississippi into Louisiana, hitting up all the juke joints. Initially we started out as a blues band, so that's where we kind of drew our inspiration from. And, after doing that for 2 or 3 years, man, we were hot and ready to go into the studio. And at that point, it kind of forged and developed our own sound. So we owe that all to the Mississippi Delta, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's definitely a very unique sound for sure. So 2018, Magnolia Bayou was the first album that you released. There's 8 bangers on there, followed up by 2020, Strange Place. You got 11 bangers on that album. And then your most recent single, the Train Don't Stop, in 2021. So overall 2 albums and 1 single.
Yeah.
And you've had much success with the albums. And yeah, I'm just like I'm kind of fanboying right now because I've listened to you guys for like the last 6 months, and I'm like, I got to get them on the show, and you're finally here. So how is it over there in the Mississippi Delta area?
It's cool, man. There's a lot of stories. We tried to get our hands dirty, like you said. The best part about doing that was like learning how people react to certain songs and stuff like that. The vibe was just unbeatable, man. Like him and I grew up listening to like Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, R.L. Burnside, and just like the tenacity and the ferocity of like what they had going on, was something that intrigued a lot of us, as well as, the AC/DCs and guys like that. So it was kind of big gumbo of sorts, kind of a thing that we like to do,
Awesome. Yeah. And, I say the Mississippi Mud reminds me of the beer.
Yeah.
I tried drinking that, and not my favorite beer, but,
Nah, man, I've got like 2 jugs at the house that it's quite old, but it's kind of just chilling. It looks great, man. The
Right.
bottles are really cool.
Yeah, but it tastes horrible. So, yeah, it's
it
good
does
for show,
taste
but
very
not
good.
good for drinks. So
Showing
you're
up,
on your spring tour. So this is your 3rd or 4th stop on the spring tour.
Yep,
And you
third
have
night.
3rd night, and then you have 2 more. You got 431 and 51, both in Mississippi.
Yes.
So are there any plans after that to, have any other tours, playing local? I know previously you've opened for Aaron Lewis, Whiskey Myers, most recently Buck Cherry. So any opening gigs coming up, or tell us a little bit more what's going on with the band.
We are supposed to be opening for Buck Cherry again May 20th in Birmingham, Alabama.
Okay, nice.
And then
Jimmy Hall on May 7th, formerly a Wet Willie. He's still with Wet Willie, but Jimmy Hall of Wet Willie on May 7th. We're doing Fools Fest, Driving and Crying will be direct support for them.
That's in Covington, Louisiana,
Mhm.
on
May 21st. Yeah. And then there's a local show May 14th. I know we're kind of like all over the place with dates, but May 14th we'll be back home in Gulfport, Mississippi for Chandelier Brewing Company's annual Shandy Fest. That one's going to be a lot of fun. And then we're actually doing a redneck raft out in somewhere in Oklahoma where we'll be either right before or a couple of bands before Quiet Riot. So we're excited
super
about
cool.
that one. Yeah.
I like the name of it. It just sounds like a float fest, like you're floating down the river.
Is. It is, man. It's a boat only festival, and we've some friends of ours, the Chitlins from back home. They played it last year, and they said it was just a great experience and just nothing like it, man. Just staging, people are floating and drinking and just having a ball on the lake.
Yeah, and that's what we did back home up in Michigan. We'd float down the river for hours, have a tube with beer, and just float down the river. So, yeah, those are exciting times. Definitely like that.
Oh, yeah, man.
And so if you're breaking up a little bit, but we are still good. If anything, I will send my number in the private chat, and then I'll just hook the Bluetooth up and have you call in.
Okay.
If that's a little bit easier, but as of right now, we are good. And,
okay. Right on.
So you guys played CPR Fest April 2nd. That was a pretty big deal up in the Panhandle. So how'd you guys like that? I think this was the first or second year, wasn't it? Or
well, it's the 20th CPR Fest, but they didn't do it for like 10 years. So
okay,
this was like the return after almost a decade hiatus. So it was a pretty big deal. And we went to CPR Fest growing up. Got to see a lot of great bands, and kind of was a goal for us was to get on one of those stages at CPR Fest. And I mean, we played on the homegrown stage, but the way they had it set up was, basically you watch the band on the main stage and then you turn around with your beer to the homegrown stage. So we were pleasantly surprised at the amount of people we got to play in front of, man. It was a lot, and there was a lot of energy, and it was a pretty wild show.
It was cool, man, because like Drew was saying, you would look this way, and then all you would have to do is like tilt your chair 90 degrees, or if you were trying to go get a beer in between, like say Non-Point and Seether or whatever, we had a lot of people at the beer line that were just, would forget about their beer and just start throwing down with us, and then like, it was a sea of people, for reference, if you want to go, people who are listening, watching, if you go to our Facebook page around April 3rd, April 4th, we posted a photo of us on stage, like a backstage, looking at all of us, and Drew and I were talking that many people, and it's like, wow, we did it, we killed it. It was great.
Yeah, and we had something back home. It was called the B93 Birthday Bash. It was primarily country, and up in Michigan, and they had the up and coming artists, and then they'd have one or two headliners. So it started out as a day when I was a kid. Then I went to a 2-day weekend, and then now it's back to 1 day. So definitely, I get the local festivals, and how interesting it would be to play at your own little local, not little, but your local festival that you grew up attending. So,
absolutely.
I'm not that talented, so yeah, I just go and watch the band. So,
you get to do this though, which is cool, man. You get to talk to guys like us, and hopefully guys that are bigger than us too. It's cool. It's cool what you get to do too.
Yeah, and I love it. It's a great hobby that I like to do, and it gets me out there, gets some of the bands out there, that some unsigned bands, and so really got me going with this is 2 months ago I interviewed a band, and just kind of music has always been a passion of mine, so interviewed a band just to interview a band, and I was like, man, this was pretty cool, and I thought I did horrible. I was like, they'll never call me back again. And, the PR agency was like, you actually knocked it out of the park. Here's a couple more bands. And I was like, oh, All right. Awesome. So yeah, that's how it kind of blossomed into what it is. And prior to that, I did some beard content.
Nice.
So it was much needed transition
Nice, man.
from the beard world to the music industry.
Yeah.
So this is
Glorious beard,
thanks.
by the way.
Yeah, I got all the beard oils behind, and
Yeah, man.
you gotta take care of the beard
That's it,
and
dude.
make it look pretty.
Got to. That's it, man.
So have you guys heard about the Singer Songwriter Festival in Key West?
I've heard of it
Yeah.
before.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I mean it's kind of along, it's a lot of country, but there's some blues acts and things like that, and I think it'd be pretty cool. I mean it's coming up in 5 days, so this year kind of be out of the question, but I think it'd be pretty kick ass to see you guys in Florida, and
Yeah, man.
I know you guys opened with Whiskey Myers, and that's probably one of my favorite Texas,
Yeah, man.
kind of banjo bluegrass, I guess you would say, kind of old school country for me.
Yeah.
So eventually, I would love to have them on the show, but I got some working up to do before I get to that level. So
Sorry, the clock.
it's church hours. No, I'm just playing. No, I was doing a show earlier and I had a fire truck, like literally just sitting
yeah.
outside, and I'm like,
Yeah.
really, guys, like, come on, like, keep going. And just
Dude, it was crazy. Like with the clock thing, Drew and I, like when we're back home and not touring and stuff, we do a lot of acoustic gigs around town. And I think we were doing like She Talks to Angels, and like the harmonic part in the middle, like the clock struck 9 and they did the bing bong, and it was like the same. It was like literally in the chord of what we were doing. I was like, dude, that would never ever happen again.
right.
You know,
Like,
that was just
perfect.
that was cosmic, dude. That was nuts.
All right. Yeah, I'm getting these. All right. I should be good to go. I got the Bluetooth ready just in case.
Okay.
All right. But you guys are good now. So I don't know if it's mine or not. I've been having some issues with the internet. They've been working on it. The fiber optics, whatever. You know how
Yeah.
that they always got to keep advancing it. So it's like, all right,
Sure.
if I have it, I have it. If I don't, we'll have you
Right.
call in. But let's talk about some of your music is very, very catchy, very different than most music, and that's what kind of grabbed my attention. So I'm interested to kind of see who were some of your influences in music, kind of growing up, and what pushed you to kind of pursue music.
Well, when we started out, we covered a lot of Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Muddy Waters. Started to move more into covering hard rock. And I listened to all that stuff growing up. A lot of classic rock, Led Zeppelin, Thin Lizzy, um, Bob Seger. My mom loved Bob Seger. She loved Norah Jones, Van Morrison. So I was fortunate to live in a family that introduced me to a very eclectic mix of music.
Awesome. Yep. Bob Seger. I think he's, if I'm right, he's another Michigan.
He is, yeah.
Fella. So
Yeah.
Nice.
Him and Ted Nugent. I mean, Ted Nugent back in the day was pretty cool. He's kind of went off his rocker a little bit these days,
Yeah.
but I grew up with my dad in the 5.0, driving down the back roads and
Right on,
jamming
man.
some Ted Nugent. So
That's it, dude. That doesn't get more rock and roll than that, dude.
right, smoking a cigarette, and I'm just sitting in the back. That's when it was cool to smoke, and you could smoke
Yeah.
around your kids. Now it's like child abuse if you do that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
all right, and can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
We,
All right.
we good on our end?
Yep, you're good. Yep, it just cut out for a second, so I was like, damn it. And
got you.
we'll just add some sound effects for the time being, so I can cut that out.
Yeah. And then so with me, like my dad, like when I couldn't go to sleep as a kid, they would come into my room and put on Miles Davis's Kind of Blue. So that kind of that kind of seeped into my psyche, so to speak, and later on got into AC/DC, and there was a time where I was jamming out with a toy guitar to Kid Rock and stuff like that. And just I'd go into shows for years and stuff like that. I always wanted to do that. My cousin brought me into his room one time and showed me a Marshall full stack and a Gibson SG and just played a power chord, and I was like, that's it. That's no need to think about what I want to do for the rest of my life anymore. I know.
Right. And it's a great, if I was talented, I mean, I'm one hell of an air guitar. Like if you need an air guitarist, like call me up. But other than that, I have the
Nice.
T-Rex hands. I'm just like,
We need them, dude.
I can't wrap it around like the neck, and it messes my hand all up. So I feel like a little T-Rex trying to play it. So, but
Right.
so you got the classic rock vibe, you got the bluesy vibe, almost kind of like a New Orleans style jazzy blues. Have you heard of? And I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, I had a band on previously by the name of Zeta, and
Yeah. We actually we got familiar with them. They actually reached out about doing a show with us, and it actually fell through. But I'd be anxious to work with them again, or work with them for the first time. But we checked them out, and we dug their stuff, man. They're great,
yeah, I was
great
just
guys.
like, I had them on a few episodes ago, and it just popped in my mind. It'd be a kick-ass show with Zeta and Magnolia Bayou playing. I mean,
Yeah.
I would drive up just for that. So.
Right on, man.
So what do we got to do to get you down in the Florida area? We actually may have, and we'll talk more about this kind of behind the scenes. We may have a music festival coming up in the Panhandle, and
Nice.
it'd be kind of cool. I can't really speak on it right now; it's still in the works. But
Sure. Yeah.
that'd definitely be something. I'd love to have Magnolia Bayou out there,
Yeah, man.
and play.
Good
I think
stuff, dude.
you guys draw that crowd, and you just have such a unique sound and vibe to you guys. So.
Thanks, man. So we're working on a run in October, like a big long run in Florida right now. We're actually transitioning to a different management booking company right now. So we're kind of working through what we've got on the books right now and kind of laying the groundwork for what's to come for that. So, but we're still thinking about, venues and places to play. I know like Club LA and Destin is a great place to play. We played Bamboo Willie's in Pensacola, Florida. I want to make it to Jacksonville, but we actually did a 4-day run with Buck Cherry down in Florida. We went to Fort Myers, St. Petersburg, Orlando, and Ormond Beach.
Nice. Okay, so you kind of went East Coast and then Central.
Yeah, that was a stellar run, man. We had a great time.
We definitely don't get out to Florida enough. We want to come back,
right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Come enjoy the. Just don't come in the summertime. Come when it's fall or it's much better weather. You won't walk outside and sweat. So,
dude, we were that run with Buck Cherry was in February. I packed like long sleeves. I was like, I wanted to kill myself, man. It was awful, dude. I was like, why?
Yeah, we get 3 weeks a year. We get some cold weather snaps. Other than that, it's usually pretty warm down here. But there's the music scene has just exploded with the pandemic. And have you guys seen, for artists around here, and some of the previous episodes I've done, the artists are having trouble actually booking venues just because so many people have flooded the market per se to try to book gigs because we've all been cooped up for so long. So is that something you're kind of running into in like the Mississippi Delta area, or?
Honestly, we don't play in the Mississippi Delta as much anymore as we used to. So we've been fortunate to not have to deal with that in that area. But it definitely was when after quarantine and when it was okay for the big bands, the bands that are much higher than us, when they started touring again, obviously they got priority. So it's taken quite a while for the baby bands or the mid-level bands, as you call us, to pick up some steam and to be able to get into venues anywhere, really. Yeah. So it's just now at a point where we're full steam ahead again.
Well, and two, it's been a lot of like there's there's been kind of not so much, but a little bit of a pay gap because like there was some venues that we were playing where we would make this, and since the return of live music, it's kind of steep down to this, and it's like man, like you know quite frankly, we're killing it more than we did. So it's like, why are you paying us less? And it's not like, not anything on them. I understand pockets are kind of, hurting right now. So I get it for that reason. But, it's going to be hard for a little while. But hopefully with this new management and booking company that we get with, then we can kind of put all that stuff to rest and get on a big tour, support some great artists, and just do what we were put on this earth to do, man.
Yeah, and like I said, you
Rock
guys
it
are
out.
super talented, so it's only a matter of time before you blow up. I mean, you already have a huge following as it is. Just kind of getting out there and like you guys have been grinding for the last several years. Several years before you even put out an album. So,
Yeah, man.
it's just that constant grind and waiting for that right opportunity to finally break. And then once you break, it's all all wild from there. So,
Yeah, man.
um, and I know you're extremely busy. You guys got to jet out of here soon to get to the show, tonight. So where are you actually playing at tonight?
Sidetracks Music Hall in Huntsville, Alabama. And then tomorrow, which will be April 30th, we'll be at the Juke Joint in Ocean Springs. That's our hometown throwdown show.
Okay.
And then on Sunday, May 1st, we'll be in Natchez, Mississippi at a place called Locust Alley. So
Locust Alley. Okay. Awesome.
if this is up and you want something to do on Saturday or Sunday, come out and party with us, man. We'd love to have you.
Absolutely. So, and folks, if you are in the area, definitely check out Magnolia Bayou. And where can we find, I have Magnolia Bayou. .com, but where can we buy the merch, things like that, for the folks that aren't seeing this and are listening to this on the podcast?
www.magnoliabayou.com
/merch for the merch.
We have all of our tour schedule on there. We have music videos, we have photos, bio. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there. And then you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram. You can find our music anywhere online that you stream music: Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, YouTube, Deezer.
Yeah.
I always say Deezer. I always throw that in there, and I don't even know what it is.
Title's one of
Right.
them too. Yeah, man. Just look us up. If really the kind of place to go would be magnoliabayou.com or Facebook. Magnolia Bayou. That's where you'll find the most information. And then yeah, man, just keep up with us, everybody out there.
Awesome. And last question: do you guys have any vinyls? I'm a big vinyl collector, so I ask everyone if they have vinyls.
Man, him and I are vinyl junkies, dude. Like I want records so bad. And like our album artwork is perfect for a record,
Right.
like especially once we get to a point where we're doing like record store day releases or whatever. Our artwork would sell like hotcakes,
Yeah, our CD is actually the way we did our second album. We couldn't afford to do vinyl. It was some miniature vinyls, and the CD fits into a slit on the side, and there's a really cool booklet with lyrics.
Okay.
And really nice pictures from the studio. And
it's a little vinyl.
But not yet,
Right.
unfortunately.
But awesome. It's been a pleasure having you guys on the show. And you guys kill the show tonight for me. And we'll talk here in the future.
Thanks,
and get you back on the show. And
Yes, sir.
until then, remember, folks, keep it sloppy. And you can check out Magnolia Bayou at magnoliabayou.com and go support them by seeing them in concert or getting some merch, CDs, purchasing their music on Spotify, Apple Music, things like that. All that goes to support the band and supports them and supports their dream and keeps them going. So until next time, remember, keep it sloppy, and we'll see you the next episode.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank y'all.